Hey there, it's Fabio, and we're back with another daily market outlook here on EURUSD. So, guys, first of all, I'm super active again in Discord, so make sure to join. Link is in the description down below or in the comment section. And with that said, let's just dive into EURUSD and see exactly what has been going on. So, first of all, guys, the overall daily time frame, what is it? It is still bearish from this swing high in towards this swing low over here. And obviously we've had that correction, so the sideways correction with the 1, the 2, the 3, also known as an ascending channel, right? So we come down, we see the ascending channel, and now we're obviously looking for downside continuation. Now looking at the daily time frame over here, bullish chalk and then a bearish chalk and then again a bearish change of character. So overall here, the overall order flow on the daily is bearish, and as we can clearly see, this buy before the sell or these imbalances, whatever you want to call them, they're now acting as a region of supply, and we can currently see that the price or the market is heading down slightly lower. So daily is still looking good for further downside as we have the fractal, which is bearish. Now let's focus on, and let me just remove those other lines. Let's focus on what the 4-hour has been doing over here, because yesterday was quite the eventful day. Because as we can see, if we just focus purely on, let's say, the change of character, here we first had a change of character bearish, then we had a change of character bullish over here. The fractal low was then this low over here, because this was the 4-hour fractal low, which broke this fractal high. Then what happened is that we broke the fractal low again. So what does that mean? It now means that this is our fractal high. So as long as this fractal high is respected, the 4-hour fractal structure should continue pushing down lower. As we can see, there was quite a strong buy before the sell-off, and if we just note that down as our area of 4-hour supply, that would mean that this is our 4-hour area of fractal supply. And as we can see, the market is now heading down lower from that 4-hour fractal area of supply. So daily is bearish, 4 hours bearish. Also, if we look at the 4-hour, and let's just look at the internal structure, guys. So there's 3 forms of structure. We have swing structure, we have internal structure, and we have fractal structure, guys. So swing structure is bearish. Why? Well, if we just zoom out a little bit, the daily structure is same as the 4-hour structure. Both of them are swing bearish. If we then look at the internal structure, the internal structure is bullish. Okay, so that is this high over here. This wasn't really a significant pullback, so this is just one big impulse. However, we could also consider the internal structure to be bearish if we take this as a valid pullback over here. So this is the valid pullback, push up, and then what happened is, okay, let's say this is the internal break, then this is the internal break down. So this means internal push, pull back, and then again a push. So another internal break over here. And then all of this over here is just also sideways price action before looking to head down lower once again. So we're also internally bearish. So that means swing is down, internal is down, fractal is down. So on every form of structure here on the 4-hour time frame, we're looking for further downside. Now let's go into 15 and see what's happening over there. So 15 showed us quite some interesting price action yesterday, and I'm gonna try and make it as easy as possible. So first of all, coming in towards this overall buy before the sell. At that time, the market was still bearish, guys. So just look over here with me. So at this time, the market was bearish. We get the impulse down over here. We get the pullback, and obviously we're looking for another impulse down. A lot of liquidity being built up below the lows. Liquidity, liquidity, liquidity. And then what you see in towards this buy before the sell-off, we get the change of character. This over here, and let me just adjust it. This over here turned out to be our area of supply. And from here, obviously, you can start looking for that short in towards the downside. So what you then see is that the market goes in and then moves back down again. So that 1 to 3 risk to reward was definitely achievable over there. So that's the first short that you can take. Then we saw a V-shaped bullish reaction again. Why was this? Well, it was because over here we had 15-minute liquidity. So those lows that I was all highlighting, liquidity, 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 it all gets grabbed, boom, boom, straight away, V-shaped reversal. So the lowest low over here before this area of demand gets swiped, and then we see that reversal back in towards the highs. So then obviously we start seeing a push up again. So at this time I wasn't looking for any longs whatsoever. we get the push up again. But then what happened at this point in time, we can see that the overall market still had this high open and this high open. And as you guys know, if we look and zoom out a little bit, what you'll see is that over here we have a big impulse after the BOS. Over here we have a smaller impulse after the BOS. And over here we have a tiny impulse after the BOS, the break of structure. So this already to me indicates that the market is slowing down, and therefore I'm happy to start thinking about alternative options to see if we're going to maybe swipe that liquidity indeed, which was existing above these highs. So at this point in time, I was very interested in looking because we didn't see the follow through in towards the downside. We saw a very strong V-shaped reaction after grabbing the liquidity. So at this point, I was looking for that potential, just further upside momentum to take out those highs. And then what you want to do is just follow the overall order flow. So this supply demand zone obviously played out. Then again, this becomes your next demand zone, right? Because this is the fractal high. So this demand zone took out this fractal high. Then what you see is that with that bearish candle, you tap in and then you move out again, right? So at this point in time, we come back down in towards that demand zone one more time. We fly up in towards the only fresh 15-minute supply zone that there was. Why is this the only fresh 15-minute supply? Well, if we just look over here, we can clearly see that there's no fresh supply, let's say over here. This was the only fresh one. We have liquidation right below it, and therefore you can see the tap, and then what you'll now see is boom, that reversal in towards the downside. So at this stage, I'm already thinking in my mind, okay, well, the 4 hour obviously is still swing bearish, internal is still bearish. So it's still interesting to look for further downside continuation. This is kind of like your entire buy before the sell-off. And then what you see is that boom, we tap back in towards that buy before the sell-off, and then we just head down lower again. So then obviously it's already end of the day for me, so I'm not trading anything else anymore. It's also as being the New York session, so we're not going to be trading anything. So let me just remove those lines to make it a little bit cleaner. So at this stage, what we'll do is we'll just remove the replay tool. I just wanted to showcase to you guys the overall price action. Now, since this morning, what has been going on? Well, if we look at the market over here, what you'll see is that after this 50-minute BOS, obviously we expect a pullback. So the pullback happened all the way in towards the downside, in towards this fresh area of demand. From here, we've moved up again. We've kept, however, this area of demand fresh. Now, this is a very important demand zone on the 15. Obviously, as I already highlighted in the beginning of this video, the 4 hour is bearish, so we're looking for further downside on the 4 hour. But the 15 is the only time frame contradicting our, let's say, short bias. Why? Well, because the 15 is bullish, right? So over here we have the 15-minute break of structure. This over here is your strong low, and this over here is your strong high, or excuse me, weak high. So we expect this weak high to get broken ultimately on the 15, and we expect kind of like that upside continuation. Now, this from here is obviously the first, let's say, strong V-shaped reaction in towards the upside, but then we kind of got this ascending structure, a lot of liquidity forming beneath the lows, and that's now what we've gone to swipe. So what I'm now checking out is to see how are we going to react inside here, because this is either going to decide if we're going to move back up again, or if the momentum just continues, what you'll see. And again, if we don't really see any kind of like strong bullish reaction, we see a little bit of slowdown, then probably what will happen is that this supply zone over here will just cause the market to shift and push down lower, guys. So yeah, that's pretty much what I'm looking at. So a potential very short-term long, a risky long, I would say, from this 50-minute area of demand. If we see a change of character here on the 15 inside demand, and then just make sure to take risk off once we kind of come back in towards this upper area of consolidation, because from here we could see the market push down again. Or what's going to happen is that we're going to see a push up, for example, in towards these higher imbalance candles, which are still untouched, okay? So 15-minute is playing a little bit around with us. Just focusing on the 4 hour, I would say focus on those shorts, and then just wait for the 15-minute time frame to give us a nice short setup. So that's it on euro dollar, pretty much there. Going in towards the daily the dollar index, you can see how perfectly we wicked in towards our area of 4-hour demand. So this is the overall sell before the buy. Yeah, just trading in between supply over here and demand over here. So it's just playing ping pong. It's still kind of deciding where it wants to move next. I mean, overall, looking at the daily real quick over here, the daily shifted fractal bearish again. So this is your overall buy before the sell, which should now act as our supply zone here on the daily. Then go into the 4-hour time frame. Looking at the 4-hour time frame, we're in bearish fractal structure. This is the bearish fractal high. Let's see if we can respect that high and continue down again. That would mean that euro dollar is going to push up again. Just keep that in mind. We're now kind of reaching in towards this supply zone. So let's see what happens from here on the 15-minute time frame. I'm keeping an eye open for a potential dollar index dump again, and then euro USD potential short-term longs like I just highlighted. So that's it for today, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Wish you all a fantastic day. If you want more analysis on the other pairs, just make sure to come into Discord and ask your questions there. Thanks, guys.